Welcome to a brief history of ancient Egypt. In this video, we will take you on a journey through time to explore the fascinating world of one of the most ancient civilizations in the world. Let's begin. Images of the pyramids, the Sphinx, and other iconic landmarks of ancient Egypt. Ancient Egypt is known for its impressive architecture, art, and culture. It is also famous for its pyramids, which are some of the most recognizable structures in the world. But what do we really know about this ancient civilization? Images of hieroglyphics, mummies, and other artifacts from ancient Egypt. The history of ancient Egypt spans over 3,000 years, from the early dynastic period to the end of the Pharaonic era. During this time, Egypt was ruled by powerful pharaohs who built magnificent temples, tombs, and monuments. Images of pharaohs, their tombs, and temples. But how did this civilization come to be? Let's take a closer look at the origins of ancient Egypt. Images of the Nile River and the surrounding landscape. Ancient Egypt was located in northeastern Africa along the banks of the Nile River. The Nile was the lifeblood of the civilization, providing water for irrigation, transportation, and trade. Images of farmers irrigating their fields, boats on the Nile, and traders exchanging goods. First settlers in Egypt were hunter-gatherers who lived in the Nile Valley around 10,000 BCE. Over time, they learned to farm and domesticate animals, which allowed them to settle in one place and form communities. Images of early settlements and farming. By around 5000 BCE, the people of Egypt had developed a system of writing, known as hieroglyphics. This allowed them to record their history, beliefs, and daily life. Images of hieroglyphics and scribes. Around 3100 BC, Egypt was united under the rule of King Narmer, who founded the first dynasty. This marked the beginning of the Pharaonic era, which lasted until the conquest of Egypt by Alexander the Great in 332 BC. Images of King Narmer and other pharaohs. In the next segment, we will explore the religion, society, and culture of ancient Egypt. Join us as we delve deeper into this fascinating civilization. In the previous segment, we explored the origins of ancient Egypt. In this segment, we will delve deeper into the religion, society, and culture of this fascinating civilization. Images of temples, statues of gods and goddesses, and daily life in ancient Egypt. Religion played a central role in ancient Egyptian society. The Egyptians believed in a pantheon of gods and goddesses who controlled the forces of nature and the destiny of humanity. Images of the gods and goddesses of ancient Egypt. The most important god was Ra, the sun god, who was believed to have created the world. Other important gods included Osiris, the god of the afterlife, and Isis, the goddess of fertility and motherhood. Images of Ra, Osiris, and Isis. The Egyptians believed in life after death and spent a great deal of time and resources preparing for the afterlife. They built elaborate tombs and temples, filled with treasures and offerings for the gods. Images of tombs, mummies, and offerings. Society in ancient Egypt was hierarchical, with the pharaoh at the top of the social pyramid. Below the pharaoh were the nobles, priests, and scribes, followed by the artisans, farmers, and laborers. Images of the social pyramid and daily life in ancient Egypt. Women had more rights in ancient Egypt than in many other ancient civilizations. They could own property, run businesses, and even become pharaohs. Images of women in ancient Egypt. Ancient Egyptian culture was rich and diverse, with a focus on art, literature, and music. The Egyptians were skilled craftsmen, creating beautiful works of art in stone, metal, and wood. Images of ancient Egyptian art and artifacts. They also wrote poetry, stories, and hymns, which were often dedicated to the gods. Images of hieroglyphics and papyrus scrolls. In the next segment, we will explore the achievements and innovations of ancient Egypt. Join us as we discover the legacy of this remarkable civilization. In the previous segment, we explored the religion, society, and culture of ancient Egypt. In this segment, we will discover the remarkable achievements and innovations of this civilization. Images of the pyramids, temples, and other architectural wonders of ancient Egypt. Ancient Egypt is known for its impressive architecture, including the pyramids, temples, and other monumental structures. These buildings were not only impressive in size and scale, but also in their engineering and construction. Images of the Sphinx, the Great Pyramid of Giza, and other iconic landmarks. The Egyptians were skilled in mathematics and used their knowledge to design and build these structures. They also developed a system of measurement based on the cubit, which allowed them to create precise and accurate designs. Images of measuring tools and architectural plans. The Egyptians were also skilled in medicine and developed many treatments and remedies for various ailments. They used herbs, plants, and other natural substances to treat illnesses and injuries. Images of medical tools and remedies. The Egyptians were pioneers in agriculture, developing irrigation systems and techniques that allowed them to grow crops in the desert. They also domesticated animals, such as cattle, sheep, and goats, which provided them with food, clothing, and other resources. Images of farming and domesticated animals. The Egyptians were skilled in art and created beautiful works in a variety of mediums, including painting, sculpture, and jewelry. They also developed a system of writing, known as hieroglyphics, which allowed them to record their history, beliefs, and daily life. Images of ancient Egyptian art and hieroglyphics. In the next segment, we will explore the decline and fall of ancient Egypt. Join us as we discover the end of this remarkable civilization. In a previous segment, we explored the achievements and innovations of ancient Egypt. In this segment, we will discover the decline and fall of this remarkable civilization. Images of war, famine, and political unrest. Ancient Egypt was a powerful and prosperous civilization for thousands of years, but it was not immune to the challenges and upheavals of history. In the 7th century BCE, Egypt was conquered by the Assyrians, followed by the Persians, Greeks, and Romans. Images of conquerors and vassals. These foreign powers brought new ideas, technologies, and cultures to Egypt, but they also brought war, famine, and political unrest. The Egyptians struggled to maintain their independence and identity in the face of these challenges. Images of foreign rulers and cultural influences. The decline of ancient Egypt was also due to internal factors, such as corruption, economic instability, and social unrest. The pharaohs became less powerful and the nobles and priests gained more influence. Images of corrupt officials and social inequality. The Egyptians also faced environmental challenges, such as droughts, floods, and desertification, which made it harder to grow crops and sustain their way of life. Images of environmental challenges and natural disasters. By the 4th century CE, Egypt had become a Christian country, and the ancient religion and culture of the pharaohs had been largely forgotten. The last hieroglyphic inscription was made in the 5th century CE, and the language was eventually replaced by Arabic. Images of Christian churches and Arabic script. Despite its decline and fall, ancient Egypt left a lasting legacy in the world. Its art, architecture, and culture continue to inspire and fascinate people today. Images of the legacy of ancient Egypt, including museums, movies, and popular culture. Join us in the final segment as we reflect on the enduring impact of this remarkable civilization.